El 10 de octubre de 1982,
The 10th of October 1982, St. Peter's Square is packed with people. More than 200,000 believers gathered for this ceremony, the canonization of Maximilian Kolbe, the Polish Franciscan, slave of the Immaculate, tireless apostle of the Virgin Mary. Afire with zeal for the salvation of souls, who even in sickness and physical limitations, suffering from tuberculosis, was a missionary in India, in Japan. In Poland, he created an entire city in honor of the Immaculate, Niepokolanów.
desde allí con sus más de 800 frailes, se dedicó a la propagación.
From there, with his more than 800 friars, he propagated knowledge of faith in the Most Blessed Virgin, Mother of God, the Immaculate, as intercessor of all graces.
En aquella ceremonia del 10 de octubre de 1982,
In that ceremony of the 10th of October 1982, there was a certain sense of expectation, because Maximilian Kolbe had been beatified as confessor of the faith, but some were expecting that there might be a change. When the ceremony commenced, Saint John Paul II, also Polish, appeared in red vestments, visible proof that the Apostle of the Immaculate, the slave of the Immaculate, would be canonized as a martyr of charity in imitation of Jesus Christ. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends.
tiene amor más grande que el que da la vida por sus amigos.
It is very possible that when you receive this letter, something may have happened. All is in the hands of divine providence. Never forget to love.
In 1939, Hitler's tanks crossed the border, sweeping aside the Polish cavalry.
It is often forgotten that the Second World War, which begins with the invasion of Poland, is the work not of the Nazis alone, but of the Nazis and Communists together. The Nazis invade Poland on one side on the 1st of September, and 15 days later, the Communists invade from their side.
On the 5th of September, the printing presses of Niepokolanów are stopped by the bombing of nearby Warsaw.
My sons, a pitiless combat approaches. I do not know exactly what will happen in Poland, but we must expect the worst. There is no corner in this world that is without the cross. Let us not run away from it, and if necessary, let us take it upon our shoulders and carry it with a good spirit for love of the Immaculate.
In February of 1941, Hitler prepares his great offensive against Russia, crushing poor Poland under his feet, while the Russians, on the other side, filled the pits of Katyn with Polish officials. On February 17th, the doorkeeper informs Kolbe that a convoy of vehicles is entering Niepokolanów. He hangs up the telephone and murmurs,
Yes, Mary.
Kolbe greeted the soldiers at the threshold.
Praise be Jesus Christ.
He is sent to prison in Pawiak. On May 28th of 1941, Kolbe is sent to Auschwitz. His head shaved and clothed in striped rags, he has become prisoner number 16670.
Desde la publicación de la Mitbrennen.
After the publication of Mitbrenneter Sorge, Hitler began to imprison Catholics in extermination camps. We know emblematic figures like Edith Stein and Saint Maximilian Kolbe, but many Catholic priests were exterminated in the camps.
En los campos de exterminio.
It is known in the camp that he is a priest, and so the hardest tasks are reserved for him. The moving of corpses, the collection of ashes in the crematory, the carrying of heavy logs under which he stumbles. A piece of stale black bread constitutes his main meal for the entire day.
Los compañeros que
His companions in the Auschwitz concentration camp testify to his charity, which was truly heroic.
y uno de los datos o
And one of the details that prove this charity is related to the matter of food. In a concentration camp, food is scarce, which makes the work much harder. And the cold. Everything is harder when the stomach is empty and hungry. In the midst of this situation, Maximilian Kolbe was able to distribute half of his food with others who were there because they were weaker or were sick. And this gesture of heroic charity profoundly impressed those who were living with him in the same conditions.
esas mismas condiciones.
On the 30th of July, after work, the entire camp is ordered to stand in line. A prisoner from Block 14 has escaped. Block 14 is where Father Maximilian is bunked. At 9 o'clock in the evening, everyone received a little soup, except the prisoners of Block 14. At nightfall, the assistant commandant of the camp appears, Karl Fritz of the SS, announcing to the prisoners that since the fugitive has still not appeared, as a reprisal, 10 of them would be condemned to die of hunger in block number 11. Fritz walked along the lines picking out the victims. Suddenly, Kolbe steps forward and offers himself in the place of one of the condemned who is sobbing and pleading. He is a Polish family man, Francis Gajobniczek.
I am a Catholic Franciscan priest.
Todos estaban impresionados
Everyone was stunned by St. Maximilian's act of voluntarily offering to go to the bunker of death. Because although it is in itself a big gesture to accept death and to be ready to give one's life for someone you don't know, it is also true that this was an extremely hard way to die of hunger and thirst. It is a long, slow agony, a painful Calvary, a terrible death, and he knew what he was committing himself to. The fact that he knew this highlights his charity even more. It is the love of Jesus Christ, the love that gives one's own life for those one loves.
The condemned men are forced to leave their clothes at the entrance to the bunker and to enter naked. During that slow and painful agony, Kolbe consoles his companions. He kneels and prays before the corpses of those who die. After 14 days, on the eve of the Assumption, the order was given to finish off the dying prisoners. The agent of death, armed with a syringe, entered the darkness of that bunker-turned tomb to find only one man alive, Father Maximilian Kolbe. The executioner approached him, and the syringe did its job. An injection of carbolic acid broke the last thread of life that remained in Father Kolbe's body. The martyrdom is consummated. Pro amorem usque ad victimam. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends.
Podría parecer que la vida de San
It could
Maximiliano
seem that the life of Saint Maximilian Kolbe had a sad ending, and that the life of a man so generous, so great, so giving, has been swallowed up by the black mouth of ideology, of those political powers that seek to fight against God. As St. Paul says in the letter to the Romans, they try to imprison the truth in injustice.
verdad en la injusticia. Pero la fuerza de Dios, el amor de Dios,
But the power of God, the love of God, the blood of the martyrs always prove to be more powerful than the forces of evil. And far from stamping out that life, it rises anew, producing, like the grain of wheat, new fruits. Fruits of holiness, fruits of enthusiasm, fruits of new life, fruits in the form of lives given to God, consecrated to Him.